Welcome to the Advanced Dual Health and Life Coach Certification. Today, we're discussing Advanced Dual Health and Life Coach Certification in specialized coaching topics in health and wellness. More specifically, advanced listening techniques for challenging scenarios. Introduction. Listening is an essential skill, yet in challenging scenarios, it becomes both an art and a science. Advanced listening techniques helps coaches, leaders, and practitioners foster deeper connection, understanding underlying messages, and respond effectively. This lecture explores the skills, strategies, and tools needed to master listening in emotionally charged or high-stakes interaction. Let's look at some key points. The essentials of listening in challenging scenarios. Number 1. Why listening is crucial in tough situations or conversations. Firstly, it builds trust and diffuses any sort of tension. It provides insight into the speaker's emotions and needs. It improves the clarity and avoids any miscommunication. For instance, a manager listens openly to a frustrated team member without interrupting. This allows the employee to feel heard, reducing any sort of defensiveness. Listening is the key that opens the door to resolution. Have a look at the principles of active listening. This is paying attention to the speaker in front of you, putting a speaker at ease, eliminate any sort of distractions, empathize with your speaker, and listen to the ideas that are beyond the words. Let's look at the common barriers to effective listening. We assume that prejudging what the speaker will say, advice mode, jumping in with solutions instead of understanding, distractions, divided attention undermines your communication. For instance, a leader checks their phone during a heated discussion, making the speaker feel undervalued. Example, be fully present, it's the least you can give into a conversation. Number 3, advanced listening basics. Stop seizing all internal and external distractions. Look, observe any non-verbal cues such as body language or the tone of voice. Listen by focusing on both what is said and what is unsaid. Example, listen not just with your ears but with your eyes and intuition as well. Strategies for advanced listening. Number 1, managing your emotional responses. Stay calm and mirror the emotional intensity with empathy, not with reaction. Use grounding techniques like deep breaths to stay focused. And avoid reacting immediately. You need to pause before you respond. Example, a client is angry about losing a deal benefits from a coach acknowledging, I hear your frustration, let's unpack what happened. Quote, a coach may say, you don't have to solve their pain, just hold space for it. Let's look at a few factors involving in listening. Focus on comprehension, knowledge of the world, knowledge of context, knowledge of language. Communication strategies would be metacognitive, cognitive, and socio-affective. Listening would be sub, micro, and macro skills. Purposes would be listeners aim, realize, retaining, interacting, and acting. Focus on context, on purpose, on authentic language use. Number 2, listening for what's unsaid. Pay attention for missing details or any shifts in tone. Tune into emotional subtext like hesitations or contraindications. Use clarifying questions to uncover the deeper truths. Example, a team member repeatedly says it's fine but sighs heavily, asking what's behind the sigh. Ask an open dialogue question. Sometimes silence says more than words. Do not ignore it. Number 3, flexing your listening style. Adjust your listening approach to match the speaker's preference. For extroverts, use verbal acknowledgement. For instance, tell me more. For introverts, provide space and patience. Recognize any cultural differences in communication styles. For example, a reflective client benefits when given extra time to process before responding. Example, adapt the way you listen to meet them where they feel comfortable. Active listening techniques. Paraphrase what was said to clarify understanding. Reflect emotions to validate their experience, and ask open-ended questions to encourage deeper sharing. Example, it sounds like you've been overwhelmed with all the changes. What part feels the hardest right now? Example, Active listening is not just hearing, it's mirroring understanding. Number 5. Navigating difficult power dynamics. Be aware of your unconscious biasness or authority dynamics. Acknowledge the other person's perspective before asserting your own. Use neutral language to de escalate tension. For instance, I see how important this decision is to you. Can we explore the pros and cons together? Example, respect doesn't diminish leadership, it elevates it. Let's talk about the techniques mastering listening across scenarios. Tuning into nonverbal cues. Facial expressions. Are they aligned with the words? Tone of the voice. Does it show anger, sadness, or hesitation? Posture. Are they closed off, like crossed arms, or open, leaning forward? Example, a client's stiff posture may indicate discomfort, even if they verbally state they are completely fine. The body always reveals what the words conceal. Number 2, practicing empathetic responses. Show emotional alignment with phrases like that sounds really hard. Use empathy to validate, not to shift focus to yourself. Example, you don't need a solution, your presence is enough. Handling defensive speakers. Avoid counter-defensiveness, keep your tone neutral. Acknowledge their emotions even if you disagree. Example, I understand why you're upset. Help me see what you need most in the situation. Example, defensiveness melts when met with understanding, not with resistance. Number 4, using guided silence. Allow pauses for reflection during high-stress discussions. Use silence to encourage the hesitate speakers to open up. Example, a silence after how did you feel about the decision prompts a deeper reflection. Example, it's in the pauses that breakthroughs often occur. Number 5, building long-term listening skills. Practice mindfulness to enhance your present moment awareness. Regularly assess and refine your listening habits. Example, listening is a skill you refine one conversation at a time. Let's have a look at the summary tables. We're going to speak about the barriers, the impact, the example, and any additional strategies for mitigation. Let's have a look at 2 of these examples. We can first talk about the assumptions. The impact is that it leads to misinterpretation of the speaker's actual intent. Example, assuming someone is angry when they're actually frustrated. Some strategies as additional is using clarifying questions like, can you help me understand better? Number 2, let's speak about distractions. The impact is that it misses critical verbal and non-verbal cues. Example, checking the phone mid-discussion, appearing disengaged. And strategies for mitigation is practice mindfulness techniques to enhance the full presence. Take a moment to have a look at the rest of the table. Emotional listening tips. We're going to speak about the scenarios, the strategy, the examples, and some additional considerations. Let's have a look at 2 of these examples. Let's talk about high stress. Now, a strategy we can use is use empathy and acknowledgement. For instance, I hear how overwhelming this feels for you. And additional consideration is validate fully before discussing any potential solutions. Let's talk about distrust. Distrust, to strategize this, is by building trust by demonstrating active presence. Example, you need to nod, you need to make eye contact, and use affirming statements like I am listening. Some additional considerations is that ensure there is good congruence between the verbal and non-verbal communication. They should be going hand to hand. Table number 3, types of non-verbal cues. We're going to look at the cues, the meaning of those, some examples, and techniques to better read signals. Let's look at 2 of these examples. Tone of the voice. Now, what it means is that it reveals any sort of hidden emotional subtexts. For instance, a raised pitch midway through a sentence can reflect frustration. Techniques is by tuning into the tempo, pitch, and pauses for adding layered context to the conversation. Let's talk about gestures. This enhances or distracts from the verbal communication. For example, fidgeting may reveal nervousness. Hand motions enhance the expressions. Techniques to better understand the signals is by avoid over-interpreting isolated gestures, and try to consider the overall patterns. Take a moment to have a look at the rest of the table. Table number 4, Advanced Techniques. Let's have a look at two of these techniques. We're going to talk about the technique, its purpose, an example, and some additional applications. Let's have a look at paraphrasing. Now, the purpose is to enhance mutual understanding and clarity. For instance, it sounds like you're concerned about balancing work and family. Is that correct? Some additional application is that it helps diffuse emotionally charged scenarios by confirming details. Let's have a look at emotional labeling. This basically validates emotions through explicit acknowledgement. For instance, you seem really upset about how things turn out. Additional application is that it assists in calmly feelings by naming them openly. Take a moment to have a look at the rest of the table. Table number 5, Reflective Listening Steps. Here we have a look at the steps, its actions, some examples, and some advanced insights. Let's have a look at listening. Listening is basically used to actively absorb any sort of words, tone, and body language coming. Example, noticing changes in tone when discussing sensitive topics. Some advanced insights is that paying equal attention to what is unsaid, emphasize on the emotional subtext. Let's speak about validating. Validate, the action is that it recognizes and affirms emotions or experiences. Example, that's really challenging. I can see why you're feeling this way. Advanced insight is that pairing validation with gentle questioning for broader context. Take a moment to have a look at the rest of the table. Let's have a look at some MCQs. Take a moment to have a look at question number 1 and 2. Take a moment to have a look at question number 3 and 4. Let's look at question number 5. When a client becomes defensive, which approach is the most effective? The answer would be C, because validating your emotions helps reduce defensiveness, allowing the client to feel seen and understood. Countering their tone and escalating tension, which is going to end the conversation, is not the perfect choice. Number B would miss the opportunities for resolution and ignoring the reaction, whereas D would reinforce a lack of understanding by ignoring it. Thank you.